Welcome to the talk show where the high stakes collide. Best of five
Ow. My arm is a little sore. Hello. Welcome to another episode of the Best of Five. We're staying alive. Elon and Automatic are here to
explode.
We're here. In the song, it says we're here to fight, but, you know, I don't think we're going to fight. At least I don't want to fight you. I feel like you just kick my ass.
I just play Third Strike these days, man. You'd be alright.
I don't even do that.
Show you the way.
We'll do it. First of all, hello everybody. Welcome to another episode of Best of Five. Automatic, it's so nice to have you back. I've missed you. It's been a hot minute. I don't remember whether it was last week or 2 weeks ago where I was like, "Hey, welcome to Best of Five. I'm with my
And to play the drums all by yourself.
Yep. But I'm happy you're back, and I hope you're doing okay. How are things over there in Automatic Land?
I set up the microphone stand that I've had in my closet for about 5 years. Because I look at my YouTube videos, I'm like, my microphone audio could be much better if I just put the microphone closer to my face. And then I realized it's going to open up desk space. So now I got this whole thing. You know,
Nice.
work
Dude,
with.
awesome. I'm with you. If it wasn't for the fact that these were already done, I would not be changing it at all. So I am right there with you. Before we get into the FGC topics, I wanted to talk about a couple of things. First, I got this thing. It's cool. It's called an Ono roller. It's like it massages your hands, and it's like a little fidgety toy. It feels nice. It's 2 aluminium circles that I can just... and it came in today, and I like it. Best $10 I've ever spent.
I bring myself back to the military when I would just blurt out juvenile things to make people laugh. I was just, I had a thought, but cool, man.
Is your thought going to get us banned?
No, I doubt it.
Oh, then do it.
How much poop is on that?
Probably
they
a
say
lot.
your cell phone is incredibly dirty. Everybody's cell phone is just disgusting because, you use it while you're on the pooper.
Yeah.
Woo! And then you wash your hands, and then, woo, the phone never gets washed. So,
yeah.
I
I literally unboxed it right before I hit the go button for the stream, so it's getting there. It's getting there. Oh, man. And before we dive into our other topics, there is something I did want to touch on before we dive in. And I saw like literally right before we went live, and it's not necessarily fighting games related, but it is video game industry related, so I figured it would be worth to talk about. Take-Two Interactive, the people who own Rockstar, 2K, Private Division, and they recently bought Gearbox, announced that they'll be having a 5% workforce layoff, and they'll also be canceling games and ending projects. That's really sad because, 5% of its workforce, that's a shit ton of people, right? Especially with how many things they own. And I wanted to touch on a couple of things about this because this is a very disturbing trend that's been in the gaming industry. I'm assuming we're gonna feel the effects of it in the fighting game community sooner rather than later, especially because, there's a little company called PlayStation and Sony that currently own Evo. But so they announced this 5% layoff, but I then wanted to take a look at their finances, right? Because usually with layoffs, it's like, oh, we're not making enough money to support our workers. So I did a little bit of digging before the show started, and I found a couple of very disturbing facts that make this not make any sense, which is the disturbing thing that's been happening around the gaming industry and also the films industry too, and the media industry
in general, and the milk industry also, and the bread industry, and the gas industry.
It's almost like capitalism is not functioning. Sorry, did I go too far?
I don't know, man.
Yeah, but I wanted to share this that I found. This is publicly available information. In the second quarter of the fiscal year of 2024, which is between January and March, Take-Two, with Grand Theft Auto 5 alone, raked in $1.4 billion US.
A lot of dollar dues.
Just in these last 3 months. Right? On top of that, as of I think almost a week or two ago, Take-Two bought Gearbox, who are the people who made Borderlands and a bunch of other games, for $460 million from the Embracer Group, another company that just bought a shit ton of stuff and then like didn't have, and then like had to lay everybody off because like whatever the fuck was going on over there, right? The Embracer Group is so egregious for doing dumb shit that like even at like I forget which award show it was, whether it was the Dice Awards, I think it was the Dice Awards. Game Over Greggy on stage on stage from Kind of Funny Games, formerly IGN. IGN's a whole nother thing that's happening too on top of that. But Game Over Gregory on stage was like, wow, the Embracer Group really fucked all of us over, huh? And then they cut to the CEO of Embracer on a table just like,
oh geez.
It was like, you know how there are times where like people deserve their comeuppance. And even though that wasn't really a comeuppance, but seeing that man who has ruined so much just like be uncomfortable for a little bit felt nice. But you know, so we can all be asking, like, you know, Take-Two bought Gearbox. They have all of this money coming in. They own Rockstar, 2K, Private Division, now Gearbox. How is it that they're laying off 5% of their workforce? Last year, Take-Two CEO Strauss Zelnick, his compensation was $42.1 million US, which was more than 2.5 times higher than his 2022 salary that was just over $16 million.
Nice.
Hope that guy's having a good one, because he's having a good one at the expense of literally everybody else. So yeah, this is kind of like where we're at in the games industry now. It's like the people at the top are just eating and eating and eating, and there's not enough for everybody else. And it's not just the games industry; it's a lot of industries that are kind of like suffering through this, while there's like, you know, the few execs at the top are just having their day, right? And if you guys remember, during the summer of last year, and even up until this year, there have been so many labor unions that had decided to go on strike, right? The UPS Teamsters went on strike because they wanted air conditioning in their cars because people were getting sick of how hot those UPS trucks are. Oh, meanwhile, their CEOs are like raking in the most that they've ever raked in, right? The films industry, they had the writers union and the actors union go on strike because the actors and writers were not getting any revenue from streaming numbers. All the companies were just taking all of the streaming income and not giving it to anybody. Who else went on strike? Let's see, it was them. The auto workers union went on strike. The CEO of GM was making over $60 million a year, a 40% increase in salary, while auto workers were struggling to pay rent, right? So they went on strike, and I don't know if that strike resolved or not, but last I heard, they were still kind of like trying to work things out. So
it's a crazy world.
Yeah,
so, because I mean, I'm sure it's not only that the people at the top are getting paid the most, but it's also the inflation. Things just cost more. It costs more to just exist. I live in a suburb next to big cities, so my cost of living is great. But I still notice it when I go to the grocery store and I try to, you know, buy some sandwiches, buy some milk and eggs. I'm like, this is like 3 times as much as it used to be. Why? Mm-hmm. So I can imagine if you're in a bigger city, the rent's higher, the groceries are higher. Yeah. And people just overall have bad spending habits. So it's like, and you would want to be able to go out to eat a couple times a week, or maybe a few times, or maybe just once a week. Yeah. But
you know what's really funny?
A lot of people can't afford to do that.
You know what's really funny though? Did you know that in the eggs industry, there is currently a huge lawsuit happening? Because the eggs industry has been proven that they artificially caused the price increase. Everything is completely the same. They just feigned that their supply was running short and caused the ridiculously drastic increase. And it's now proven that they falsified it, and hopefully our justice system, which that's a whole nother fucking thing. We'll do
Isn't
something
there like
about it.
chicken wings or legs that were out of stock or something like that? What do you mean? Like, are the chickens not growing that part or something? It doesn't make any sense to me. I don't.
Yeah, it's
I don't
it's
know. And I think
artificial.
it is.
Go ahead.
It could be greed, and it's hard to know the truth for sure, like with absolute certainty. But I'm sure some of it is greed, but some of it is okay. Why is there that greed, or why is it something else? You know, what happened to the disconnect of you're helping people out, providing a service so you can live and eat.
Absolute power corrupts absolutely. You know.
I hope that's not. I hope that's not the case. Or if it's just some of it, it's not okay. But there's got to be a greater explanation. That just it's hard to get to.
Yeah. No,
Anyways,
yeah. But anyway, I just hate that it all falls to us to pick up the pieces while everybody else is out enjoying their caviar in their golden encrusted toilets or whatever the fuck. But yeah. Anywho, we're a fighting games podcast where we talk about fighting game news. Sorry, I just wanted to get that out, man. Squidly was saying like how he feels pissy. I do too, man. Especially reading all these news, and it just keeps getting worse and worse. It's like, what happened? What happened? Where did it all go wrong? People, that's where it all went wrong. But
I've been doing pretty good, man. Just pressing buttons on Fightcade and watching Third Strike videos.
Good. No, I've been having a good I've been having a good fighting games week.
And Helldivers as well, like
Helldivers, that's right. Yeah, we need to hop back in there. Need to hop back in there. But I was having a good fighting games week. I don't know if it was yesterday or if it was last week. I was playing some Tekken. I was getting really frustrated because I kept getting grabbed all the time. And I took the time to go watch FDX's video on how to break throws. And I spent about an hour practicing that. And then all of a sudden I was taking throws in Tekken. It was crazy. It's almost like if you practice, you become better. But all this
you just take some time to get better at something, you get better at it.
Yeah, but all this to say, VDX's video is phenomenal. He literally lays it all out. It's like, here's how you practice this and how you apply this. And it was awesome. It was awesome. So shout outs to VDX. Shall we get to some topics?
I'd love to.
It's already been 20 minutes and we've just been bitching. I mean, I've just been bitching. You've been sitting here patiently waiting to talk.
Get to the news, Elon.
So have you played Mortal Kombat at all? I feel like I ask you this every time a Mortal Kombat thing comes up.
Nope. Casual Tay, who used to be a Rumbleverse player, I watched some of his clips on Twitter. That's about the extent of, and I see people complain about it. I wish I saw more people like point out what's cool about it, but.
Yeah. So, a lot of people have there's been a very crazy negative wave over Mortal Kombat 1. We had the guys from Low Kick Esports here last week, and they shared that on their end of things, they have the FGC meetups, which is the largest local fighting game scene in the U.S. The only game that didn't stick around after the explosive launch was Mortal Kombat 1. People just stopped showing up. And I think it was a combination of issues with the game balance and the direction that they were trying to take the game in, along with the game being so radically different. On top of, issues like player 2 side couldn't do the same combos as player 1 side.
I knew it! I knew this was going to happen with the Mortal Kombat with assist that was a $70 price tag, AAA games, and the corporate... I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I mean, you're not totally wrong. But with that said, they had a big patch that released today.
Cool. How did that patch go?
What?
How did that patch go?
Honestly, people are very happy for it, right? Huh. So apparently one of the big issues of Mortal Kombat 1, and I am very ignorant to it, is that Raiden apparently was like crazy overpowered. This patch took steps to take some of the overpowered things away without nerfing him too much. Characters got new moves. I think Reptile got a new move. Rain got a new move. So they got some new tools to work with. They completely reworked Shujinko, one of the cameo assists. He now works completely different, and people are super happy about that because I feel like his whole thing is that he takes the moves from other people, right? So I think that was not working quite as they wanted it. And I think it was so bad that people were just completely skipping him as a cameo. But now he has a lot more tools and a lot of works a lot differently. So I think a lot of people are happy about that. And on top of that, they also are working to stabilize the game and, make sure the netcode works okay. They added crossplay. They added King of the Hill, which is what Mortal Kombat fans have been asking for. And something I wanted to talk about Mortal Kombat is that, in my opinion, I think Mortal Kombat does, like, the season pass thing the best out of every other fighting game. And it's very interesting that Mortal Kombat, also under the Warner Brothers umbrella, same company that owns Rocksteady, who did the Justice League, Kill the Justice League, the Suicide Squad game, that is a horrific disaster because they were forced to put in live service things into the game. The live service aspect of Mortal Kombat, I think they do the best. They announced their new season that starts now and ends in June. It's the Storm season, right? So they have a ton of new character skins that are tailored to this season, on top of having classic character skins. I think they released like a Deadly Alliance skin for Shang Tsung, on top of like all these other really badass looking costumes for characters. And it just made me think, like, man, Street Fighter 6 does a bunch of stuff for the avatars. And then they released, like, $15 costumes per character. Tekken 8, same thing. Like, they did a lot for avatars, and I guess they have, like, the customizable items that you can earn. But, everything feels a little lackluster, especially with the amount of money that you have to spend. With Mortal Kombat, you can just play the, like, what's it called? The invasion mode or whatever, which is really cool because they do like a lot of twists on the game. It's kind of like how they used to do Mortal Kombat Towers, where they're like, oh, fight Raiden, but there's missiles coming at you, or Raiden is gigantic and you're tiny. So they like have something like that that's been developing alongside the game that's super duper interesting. And if you play that, you can earn the in-game currency and you can buy yourself some new skins. So I feel like they do that the best. And that's like the one...
Sounds like it.
That's the one thing about Mortal Kombat that I can 1,000% say with certainty that they do the best. Everything else, I'm a little too ignorant on Mortal Kombat. That's not a diss at Mortal Kombat. That's a diss at me. So I can't really speak on that. But with, I feel enticed to spend extra money after buying Mortal Kombat. With Street Fighter 6 and Tekken, I don't feel enticed. You know what I mean?
Either more money or more time playing the game to earn those unlockable whatevers.
Yes.
That's something that's severely missing from Street Fighter 6. Like, they have that. They do have the battle pass kind of thing where you can, like, it's like a gacha style. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say they have it, but it's all for avatar stuff. And to that point, I don't know if you've been in the Battle Hub lately, but all I see in there are just people talking about, like, what level they're in and what their avatar level is. So I guess outside of the fighting game community, like, that's what people are super into. And, and good for them. Good for them. I just wish there was a little bit more to show off some of the characters and show off some cool stuff with
it's hard
character
to
costumes.
monetize. Well, I think this makes me think about Helldivers and their model. Like, every month they have a new war bond. It's $10, or you can unlock it with super credits that you can earn. Both you can pay for it, or you just find it naturally in the game. So it encourages people to play the game, but it also gives a new revenue stream each month to get those on top of the armor sets that are like every 3 days they refresh. So it's things that are useful in game, and you might like them cosmetically, so you buy them for that reason. But you can just at the end of the day play the game and also earn it. So with the $40 price tag of Helldivers, that game, you feel like you got a bargain. Like, it was a fire sale to get a game like that that's so fun, and not the $70 to $60 price tag that things are usually these days. So I mean, it's a model that seems to be working quite well.
There is one thing that I do
playing the game and liking it.
There is one thing that I do appreciate about the way that Tekken and Street Fighter have been doing their battle passes and stuff. And it's that if you complete the battle passes, they give you enough in-game currency to buy another one.
Yeah.
So to me, that's like, oh shit, okay, so technically you can buy one of them and then just play the shit out of the game and then get the other one, right? But it's funny. Maximilian has pointed this out, and other people have been pointing this out, and it's really grimy. The battle pass for Tekken is, I think it's like 400 Tekken coins or whatever. The battle pass for Street Fighter is like 300 fight coins or whatever. you have to purchase. You can only purchase within $5 increments. So
Yep.
the Tekken Battle Pass is like 600, so you have to purchase $10 worth of fight money or whatever. And same thing with Street Fighter. It's like, man, come on now. You're not making this easy. It's like, oh, god damn it, dude.
It's like, it feels like they think you're stupid. It's kind of what it is.
Yeah. But with that said, like, look, if you like that kind of stuff and you're spending money on it, good. You're gonna support.
That's what I wanted to bring up. Most of the things in the Street Fighter 6, whatever Battle Pass, none of it's really that cool to me. I used to get it just because I wanted to support the game and maybe get some new stuff, but none of it's really that cool. They have that rent a character thing. Who's using that?
Yeah, there's no characters.
Try out a character for a second. Yeah.
They released that, and it's like, it's gotten to the point that Go ahead.
If there was a free to play model, then rent a character would make awesome. That would make perfect sense. It'd be awesome.
Yeah,
but that's not the case. You have like 4 or 5 characters to choose from.
Yeah, and what's even worse is like you can only hold a certain amount at a time. Like I've maxed out how many character rental passes I have, and I can't earn more.
It just feels like a useless thing, and then they just tag on something that makes it worse. That's all. That's all right.
Yeah. Well, when's that patch coming out for Street Fighter 6, huh? They said April, May.
How much you want to bet they release Akuma, but they don't change the game? It's not a patch release.
Dude, if they do that, I'm done. If they do that, I'm done. That's it. That's it.
You better expect that. You better hope it is a pleasant surprise and there's some changes when Akuma comes out.
Oh, that would make me so sad. That would genuinely really make me really, really sad. It was really funny. I did this on stream where I played some Tekken and I learned how to grab with Fee and I had a blast, right? Because I was learning things. Things were exciting. I played Killer Instinct because Killer Instinct is still getting updates. And if you missed it, the Ultra Tour, the Killer Instinct Ultra Tour is back. And they've announced stops at Combo Breaker and at CEO. And there's like $15,000 added to Combo Breaker. There's $10,000 added to the pot for CEO. So like Microsoft is investing in Killer Instinct again, which is super exciting. I've been playing the shit out of that game. It's not my favorite game, but I enjoy playing it, right? Because everything is really active, right? Even when you're getting comboed, you can still break. So you could still you still have to pay attention. You have to do stuff. And then I played Street Fighter 6, where I got empty jump, drive rush, low medium kick, drive rushed, or I would be in the brink of winning a game and then I get 3 drive impacts because Manon can't cancel after the first couple of frames of her crouching medium punch into drive impact, even though she's supposed to. And man, the difference in mood, Street Fighter 6 ruined my day. It's crazy. It's wild.
That is such an interesting aspect of it, though, because if people just stopped playing something, if they didn't like it, imagine the impact it would have. I mean, maybe I don't know what the impact would be, but I think that would be overall healthier for everybody. If you just don't like something, stop playing it.
Yeah. Man, but that's the thing. It's I feel like, especially with something like Street Fighter 6, it's is the FGC going to be greatly affected if Street Fighter 6 dies? I'd like to say both yes and no. Or does it even matter?
Maybe it's even better. Maybe something better will come along. Just like a Helldivers fighting game.
Just like Helldivers. Dude, Helldivers fighting. Could you imagine a side scroller fighting game with Helldivers where bugs come in, kind of like Tekken Force?
Almost like Helldivers 1, the top-down shooter.
True. Speaking of money, we've been talking about money this entire show. Let's talk about it. Esports World Cup. I've talked about the Esports World Cup and how shitty I think it is. On who's running it, why they're running it, etc., etc. And it's that old adage, right? If something is too good to be true, then it is. So everybody at the end of the day, it seems like where we're going with this whole esports World Cup thing in Riyadh is everybody has their price apparently, right? And who better to check what everybody's price is than Saudi Arabia, one of the richest countries in the world, because they have lots of dried up and fossilized dinosaurs in the ground. They announced today, this morning, at 10 a.m., that the esports World Cup will be having $60 million.
It says life-changing prize money.
Yeah. Like, talk about talking down to other people, right? $60 million for a total prize pool.
That's not just like Street Fighter. Okay,
no,
it's
total.
good though.
Club championships win $20 million. Game championships win $30+ million. Qualifiers get $7.6 million. And then on top of that, they have MVP awards that will give you an extra $1.1 million.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah. But it is Saudi Arabia. I told you this before we went on stream. I wasn't even able to enter the country because of my name until like last year, I think. And on this show, I've extensively shared my issue with something being run out of Saudi Arabia by the Saudi Arabia government. I even made a YouTube video about it. And funny enough, one of the comments that I got in the YouTube video is that I titled the YouTube video something like the FGC's involvement in Saudi Arabia is disconcerting. And one of the comments was, I'm proud of myself that I knew what disconcerting meant. So I feel like I'm going crazy because I'm trying to present this information and how this is bad. And I get comments like, I figured disconcerting is what it meant by the context, but instead I looked it up and I was right. Fuck the content of your story. I just wanted to talk about how proud I am that I know a word. Whoever that guy is on YouTube, congratulations. But man, it genuinely makes me feel like a crazy person that I see a problem with this and it feels like nobody else does. Do you see an issue with this at all?
I don't know enough to have a firm comment one way or the other. I mean, I remember you said something last time about like, was it something related to women's rights or something like that?
Yeah. It's bad. Women in Saudi Arabia have to be accompanied by a guardian wherever they go out in public. And on top of that, the women cannot pick their own guardians. So it's literally like a property type of thing. It's really fucked up. And in the, you know, there's this happening, and then on the outside, on the PR side of things, they're like, oh, we're getting more progressive. See, women's rights. Anyway, that doesn't even begin to like scratch the surface of all the problems with Saudi Arabia and their humanitarian crisis over there. You know they still do crucifixions in Saudi Arabia?
No, I don't know nothing about Saudi Arabia. I'm sorry.
They still do crucifixions in Saudi Arabia.
I wish I could share your passion, but all I know is
it's not even a passion. It's like it's a fear. It's a fear, right? I'm actually genuinely scared that the next thing they're gonna announce is Evo Saudi Arabia. I genuinely think that might happen. And if it does, I think that's the end for me. Like, that's it.
What does that make me think about? I mean, you know, fighting game events don't really make money, right?
No.
So in a way, you're kind of just taking their money if you just go there and, you know, that's the best. That's the best I can come up with.
Yeah, no, I've thought about that too.
They're probably gonna lose a lot of money to do something like that.
Yeah, but to them, money is no issue, dude. Those people over there, like $60 million is like you can sneeze that out, right? Like that's a sneeze to the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia. Like they have so much goddamn money. It's no longer an object, right? Like they literally can do anything, and that's what they're doing. They're kind of trying to make Riyadh, the capital of Saudi Arabia, the center for tech, gaming, and esports. Mostly because, you know, the petroleum reserves are drying up. So they're trying to look for the next big money-making scheme. But yeah, man, it's just, I have a lot of big feelings about it, and I'm not comfortable with it. And I feel like a crazy person that I am not seeing other people, with the exception of Oh man, who's the person who writes them's fighting words blog? Oh my god, I'm blanking on their name. But anyway, he's the only other person that I've seen like talk about how bad Saudi Arabia is. But to your point, I guess if somebody can win $30 million and like make the FGC better, then I guess that's the price we pay. Just sell our souls to the devil. Just sell our souls to the devil.
That seems like a college degree level amount of research to really have an informed thought about it. So I'm blissfully ignorant, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, anyway, we'll move on. I'm just on I just feel like I'm a crazy person when I see anything about this esports World Cup stuff. And look, I feel like I do need to say this. The person who is behind the fighting games section of the esports World Cup is Alex Jabali, because he works for the EFG, the ESL Faceit group. There is nothing against Jabali. There's nothing against the work he's doing. My issue is solely with where it's happening, and that's out of Jabali's hands. So, and honestly, that might be out of every competitor's hands as well, I guess. But yeah, my issue is just where it is and who's benefiting from it.
I think you're right to have that position, but I also think the government doesn't always represent its people. Most
I 1,000% agree. I 1,000% agree. But the issue then is that this is funded by the Saudi Arabia government. And I know that made it seem like, I felt like I was talking down to you. That's not what I'm doing at all.
Oh, no.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, and that's that's
the ignorant.
Yeah, no, that's the big issue that I have with this, is that this is funded by the Saudi Arabia government, and the Saudi Arabian government benefits from it by all the good PR. It's like, oh, look, we're giving $60 million to these esports kids. Look how progressive we are. We don't commit any human rights abominations here. Anyway, new woman was born. They got to go pick out a guardian. Anyway, that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at. It's a lot of big feelings about things that are wrong, things that are objectively wrong, that we can't do anything about. So, like I said, I think you put it best. You put it best. It's like, if somebody in the FGC walks away with that money and they make good use of it, then I guess that's the happy story out of it, right?
And it's also the situation, I feel, that if you don't do it, somebody else will. That's definitely there.
Yeah. It just makes me kind of sad. Anyway, let's stop talking about sad stuff, shall we? Can we talk about happy stuff?
Yes, please.
All right.
I'd love that.
Evo Japan is in a couple of weeks. As a matter of fact, I think it's next weekend, right? Yep, next weekend. They released their numbers as of March 30th, and the numbers are staggering, which is good.
Yeah.
Under Night in Birth with 353 entrants. King of Fighters 15 with 450 entrants. Street Fighter Third Strike with 459 entrants. Grand Blue Fantasy vs. Rising with 748 entrants. Guilty Gear Strive with 838 entrants. Tekken 8 with 1,216 entrants. And Street Fighter 6 with 4,851 entrants.
Street Fighter is crushing it in Japan, man. Their stream numbers,
dude, those VTuber collabs, those VTuber collabs are making Street Fighter explode in Japan. It's crazy. So the number for Street Fighter 6 is 4,851. Do you want to know how many total attendance Evo Japan had last year?
Probably less than that. I think that's the point you're making here.
I thought I brought it up, but never mind. It was around 5,000.
So nearly.
It's nearly all of the attendance of last year.
That's incredible growth. I know there were some concerns last year with the event itself, as far as I think it was the
comfortability.
AC. It was hot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe the tournament wasn't ran that great.
Yeah.
TOs, the bracket runners,
we're having a hard time. Yeah. Yeah. There were a lot of complaints about it last year, but The numbers don't lie. The numbers don't lie. With that said, though, if there was one person that I would want in charge to fix up something like that, it's Rick.
Absolutely.
So, from my understanding, this is going to be hopefully a positive thing. I put my full faith in Rick, so he's doing the best he can. Even if it's not perfect, I feel like it's going to be better than it was last year.
Yep, Rick ain't ever gonna stop.
Yeah. Speaking of Rick never stopping, he has another event that is slowly releasing numbers. And by slowly releasing numbers, I mean Curling W, who actually was just highlighted on Evo's social media accounts for all that she does in TOing for Evo and for Combo Breaker and everything. Something that she does that I love is she posts like very cryptic tweets about Combo Breaker numbers. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but they're really cool. Let me show you this one.
House, wrestling 6, 100, 100, 100. And many more.
Can you decode this? Can you guess what this is?
Well, the 6 makes me think of Street Fighter 6.
Yeah, see, they're on the street fighting.
Street Fighter 6.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 1100 entrants for Street Fighter 6 for Combo Breaker. Them's good numbers. It's funny. I think as of last year, the only tournament to break 1,000 entrants was Guilty Gear Strive. I think Guilty Gear Strive was the only tournament that broke 1,000 entrants at Combo Breaker. So there's Street Fighter 6 breaking it. And then as of yesterday evening, this was tweeted out.
That looks like a king. Running 2 from Dragunov 8.
Yeah. Basically. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 1,200 people signing up for Tekken 8. King of the Iron Fist 8.
That's crazy, man. It wasn't Combo Breaker, I believe, last year they were cut off. They just missed the release date of Street Fighter 6. Is that correct?
Yeah. Combo Breaker was the final Street Fighter 5 tournament, which was won by Just a Kid, friend of the show. And then CEO, a month later, was the first Street Fighter 6 tournament.
Just a Kid.
Which was won by Mena. I think playing Blanca, if I'm not mistaken. Things never change.
Oh, yeah.
And there were like a couple of like really surprise showings in top 8 for that. I remember. There was what was it called? There was a guy playing Manon because people didn't know how bad Manon was at the time. CJ Truth was just drive rushing with Jury and killing everyone. You could really tell who was cracking. People were cracked out.
Yeah.
But anyway, I actually very vividly remember playing Street Fighter 6 at CEO, and I had a good time. I think that's kind of like the thing that's like trying to keep me from disliking Street Fighter 6 is like all of the good times I've had offline. I remember although every time I've been knocked into losers in my Street Fighter 6 career offline has been with a JP. And this was before JP got nerfed. There was a guy named Faith in Chaos from Florida at CEO that put me in losers. Hilarious dude. The nicest dude ever. If there was anybody I was going to lose to in that tournament, I lost to him. I'm happy with that. I got double jeopardy by him. First round we played, he sent me the losers, and it's really funny because I do this joke. I'm gonna share like a couple like tips and tricks to diffuse the situation at tournaments to make yourself feel better. Usually for like the first couple of matches at a tournament, I'll always turn to the person and be like, "Hey, let's make a pact. One of us is making it out of this pool." And sure enough, I did that pact with Faith and Chaos, and then he double jeopardied me and made it out of pool. So I was like, all right, glad you kept your word. And then at Evo, same thing. I got put into losers by a JP player. And then I made it out of my pool, so suck it. I've kept this around. I don't eat at Chipotle, but I've kept these around. I have like 4 of these like laying around my house.
I had acupuncture appointments, and there was a Chipotle in that city. So for the past every Thursday, I was eating at Chipotle because I got all those codes from the Chipotle event.
Yeah.
I had like 40 codes.
Dude, yeah. Honestly, like if I like Chipotle, I would be like eating for free for like the next month. But
it's all right.
Unfortunately, I don't like Chipotle.
I don't want to get off topic too much, but the burritos, they don't do it, man. The rice bowls, you got to get a rice bowl. The burritos, they're too cumbersome.
Yeah, no,
It was,
and here's the thing. It's like I think their food tastes okay, but every time I eat Chipotle, it's like I feel like I'm gonna die.
oh wow.
Yeah, like it just wrecks my stomach, and I don't know why. Even if it's
Oh.
even if it's like things that, like even if I have like the dairy free, or if I have like the protein bowl, or like the Whole30 version, like whatever they do over there, it just wrecks my stomach. I don't know what it is. It makes me think of that South Park episode with Chipotle Way. Have you ever seen that episode? You know what I'm talking about, or is this like?
Nope.
Okay, so South Park they did an episode about Chipotle and how when you eat at Chipotle you shit blood. So they invented something called Chipotle Way that wipes
Oh my goodness.
that cleans the blood stains off of your underwear. So
Oh,
instead of stopping eating
nice.
at Chipotle, people were using Chipotle Way.
Nice.
Anyway, all right.
That was great for the evil numbers and combo breaker.
Yep. Absolutely, and those Chipotle numbers as well. Look, we talked about sad things. We talked about happy things. I believe it is time for us to get to the educational portion of this show.
My turn.
Yes. So for those of you that don't know, and if you don't listen to our theme song, Automatic is in the lab always, cracking the code. And Automatic, I believe you have cracked some codes that you would like to share with us today, huh? Take us to the lab.
Sure. All right. So there was a tweet recently which started this whole thing and me putting this together. It was a tweet about how you can go to Alpha 2, Street Fighter 3 Third Strike, Street Fighter 4, Street Fighter 5, Street Fighter 6. Then you can hit crouching medium kick and get clipped and take 40% damage. And that rubbed me the wrong way because although it's true, it's the way you get that and how the opportunities are occurring, whether it's on block or on a hit. That's the problem. It's not only about getting hit by low attacks. So I mentioned this about Third Strike. I'm like, so what character in Third Strike can you actually block a crouching medium kick and then they're in your face and you gotta guess? None. None, really. But there is one exception. And what I'm getting to is actually a parry demonstration. But there is one character who can kind of do a skip neutral low attack into something with plus frames. And unfortunately, it is Yan. So he can do something like crouching medium kick into tackle or shoulder. This actually does not combo on hit, by the way. Excuse me while I poorly navigate. Save state. Crouching medium kick, shoulder. Actually does not combo. But on block or on hit, if the shoulder hits or if it's on block, you either get a big Ganesian combo or you can be in their face and have advantage. So, for example, Third Strike Vet can't execute. So when I activate, this is +8. And if you're not familiar with this super, it is terrifying. There's so many things you can do with it, especially in the corner. The combos are pretty simple. But it does a lot of damage. The meter is very low. It's a really dangerous super. It's probably it is one of the reasons Yun is either the best character in the game, maybe number 2 to Chun-Li, maybe. But anyways, there's still risk attached to this crouching medium kick into shoulder tackle. So obviously Third Strike has parry. You can parry this move, and then if he activates, you can punish it. And he loses pretty much all his meter from Ganesian. Let me see if I can demonstrate that with the meter of Ganesian. There we go. So I'm going to record Yun doing shoulder into Ganesian. So I have him activating Ganesian and then blocking. Let me get a little bit closer. So if I parry this, most characters are going to be able to throw him and reduce almost all of his Ganesian meter and just totally deplete it. There's also some punishes you can do, like I believe it's around 5 or 6 frame startup that just hit him before he can even block. If I'm playing 720, hey, nothing he can do about that. What? Is he throwing invincible? I might have to delay it a little bit. Or do it later. That's pretty funny. But the point is, You can absolutely punish him for doing this. Now, you may think that Yun is able to switch up his shoulder timings, do the medium version or the heavy version. I'm going to show you what happens with the heavy version because this is the slower one. So you have the fast one, you have the slow one. So the slow one, same idea. Now, what I'm doing here is I'm actually parrying twice. Oh, there's 2 parries in there. Parry and third strike, the grounded parry, forward parry, and down parry are a 10-frame window. So when you tap forward, you're parrying for 10 frames high. You can still get hit by low attacks. But there's a cooldown period to this. You can't just continuously tap forward and then get 10 frames of parry. So there's actually a cool feature in this training mode that shows you how this process works. So if you look at where it says forward, the green meter is the active parry window. The orange meter is the cooldown. So as long as I tap forward when there's no orange, I can have a forward parry. But I can't continuously tap it. It would actually make it worse if I do that, because if you press forward and then don't go to neutral, your parry window lasts for that 10 frames. But if you press forward and then block, it gets cut off early. So notice the same thing for the down parry. Same process. If you tap down, you get the 10-frame parry. You go to neutral. It has a cooldown. I think this cooldown period is around 20 frames. So wouldn't you know it? They don't share the same cooldown. So if you tap forward and then down, you can have your parry active for much longer duration. Now, you can still get hit by highs or lows depending on which parry that you're using. But with a move like Yun's shoulder, you can parry it high or low. So regardless of the speed of his shoulder, you can extend your parry window to cover all of his shoulders. So if you see Yun hit crouching medium kick, you can tap forward and then tap down, and you'll parry either the fast one, the medium strength one, or the long one. So I do all this to say that even the best example of crouch medium kick skip neutral, there's a clear and really cool answer in third strike. Back to you, Elan.
Back to me. I just need you to switch your overlay on your end. But you know what this makes me think of? Did you see that tweet by Arlieth earlier today showing somebody? So Arlieth showed a tweet.
Maybe I have.
Showing that somebody beat Urian's Aegis mix-up or Aegis setups on Knockdown with Akuma, where they parried and then did a demon through it. I have the video here. I downloaded it while you were giving that presentation because this made me think of it. So this is what it looks like. Well, this is a 30-second video of a shaky cam of somebody watching or somebody watching the match. Wait for it. Wait for it. Wait for it. Here it is. Aegis.
Sweet.
So much to your point, it feels. Yeah. So much to your point, like, first of all, that person did a parry into Raging Demon, which, like, they did a Raging Demon in like 3 or 4 frames or something crazy like that. And this, to your point, it's like there's an answer, right? Especially with something like Aegis, I got hit, like 0-star exactly, like I got hit, and what this reminds me of is Dalsum, or not Dalsum, I'm sorry, Rashid Super 2, where he has the tornado. With Street Fighter, you either parry or you die, or you get grabbed, right? I
knew that character was going to be a problem.
I think that character already is a problem, but I think, again, another thing I think I'm alone on. Although you saying that makes me feel a little bit better. But yeah, that's so. To go back to what you were saying, and this is something that I'm very ignorant in Third Strike because Third Strike is before my FGC time. So you can you can kind of do a low parry and a regular parry at the same time, and it's kind of like an OS. Is that what was happening?
You can string them together, basically.
So if one doesn't hit, you still get the other.
If they do an attack that is like, low parries don't parry everything. If they do like a medium punch with Ken, you get hit.
Yeah.
You get hit crouching if you down parry. And crouching, you take more damage, and sometimes you take more frame advantage too. So there's that big risk when you're parrying, is there's a high or low. But yeah, it's just doing a high parry, a low parry. I actually did a metronome to see like what the correct timing was. About 145 beats per minute if you tap forward and down on every half note, I think it was. You can have the parry window, pretty much always active.
I used to have a metronome app on my whatever. I was gonna guess at what 145 is, but I'm not gonna get it.
I guess it's about every 20 frames. If you tap forward or down, you should have a parry window active the whole time.
Interesting. Wow.
But here's, that brings me to something else with the Daigo parry. If you look at the footage, Daigo was parrying preemptively. A lot of people think you got to parry the Chun-Li super before it happens. It's just flat out not true at all. You can parry after she does it. But Daigo was going for the method where you preemptively parry it. And he was standing outside of range where it's like he was playing footsies with Justin's super. He would parry inside of the range where he might do it, and then he would back off. And then parry inside the range. He would just repeat that process. But the thing is, if Justin saw this, he could have supered after Daigo parried because he got locked out. He wouldn't be able to parry again.
Oh, so there is like a lockout window for parries in Third Strike?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, that was the point. That's pretty much the idea.
Interesting. So, wow. Yeah. Sorry. I'm wrapping my brain around all of this information.
So you couldn't tap forward again if you tap forward already for the for the 20 or so frames that the cooldown period is. Tap forward, then they do super, and then if you do super after their parry window has expired, they cannot parry again. Maybe I should test that one more time to see if the cooldown period lasts beyond the screen freeze. But I think you can't just keep hitting forward against that super.
Oh. Huh. So is this one of those situations where like that's the one thing that gets people into the FGC because it's so like what's it called? Executionally heavy because you have to time every hit. So that's not the case? Or is it like just slightly
No, it is
the case?
It definitely is.